Let's go. What's going on, crypto people? What's good? What's going on, crypto fam? The Fourth Amendment has been breached. Oh my goodness. The Fourth Amendment has been breached. Government seizures of your crypto assets. We tried to tell them, fam. We tried to tell them. Let's go. Life is good. Terrell Hauser, yes, sir. What's good, my guy? Jay Corn is in a building. Brooklyn and the Bridge. You're an early adopter. I'm an early adopter of this new asset class that is a digital asset space. The market's doing what it does. The market is doing what it does. Hey, what is going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life, in the crazy life that is the digital asset space. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to each and every one of you. The G7 is coming together on stricter crypto regulations. What does that look like? And attorney Jeremy Hogan has stated what I've been saying from the beginning. The dude said that the Fourth Amendment has been breached. In other words, there is an opportunity and perhaps even a likelihood of the government stepping in and saying, you can't hold that stuff. And if you do, we're going to come and get it. We're going to get into that. I try to tell people, people keep talking about this ledger. Oh my goodness, we'll get into that. Look, we'll go over the numbers as well. The G7 coming together. Look, it's the G7 against the rest of the world. It's the G7 against the BRICS and BRICS plus nations. You got presidents on live TV saying that you better, if I were you, I would get rid of my US dollars. I believe that was the Kenyan president who said that. I believe it was the president. If I would, talking to its people, talking to his people, the citizens of his country, if I were you, I would be getting rid of those US dollars. A new thing is coming in about a couple of weeks. Now, this may have to do with the whole oil and Russia and China thing, but the bottom line, if you got a nation talking about getting rid of their dollars, there's a reason for that. Holy moly, Mr. XRP all in, what's going on, my friend? US dollars in trouble, we've all known it. The question is not whether the US has a plan. The question is, do you have a plan? That's the question. That's why we say in this channel all the time, walk away from these content creators talking about the technology of Bitcoin. Like, you got to tune that off, put that thing on mute until they're finished talking about that, and then listen to them after they're done talking that madness. We need more choices. And we need more choices of sound money. Because guess what? The fiat dollar system is failing and has been failing for a long, long time. And let us not forget that the US nation has about 200,000 Bitcoin in their possession from seizures. RC, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. So the question is not so much whether the US entities have, the alphabet people and the current administration has a plan. The question I humbly would submit to you is, do you have a plan? Do you have a plan for the US dollar being toast? Do you have a plan? Do you hold some digital assets that you believe in this new financial reset will have value to it? Because it's here. The fourth industrial revolution is here. The tokenization of real world assets is upon us. And how will the digital assets that you hold play a role in that? Will they be deemed to be valuable? That is, my friends, that's the bigger question right now. That's the bigger question. It's not where do you hold it, it's what do you hold? What do you hold that's valuable and would be deemed valuable in the new fourth industrial revolution? I think a lot of people would argue that gold, it will be valuable. What about digital assets? Which ones do you think? Right? And another way I think that's so hugely important is we have been conditioned to think in terms of fiat dollars when it comes to value. And perhaps maybe we need to think a different way. Perhaps we need to think a different way. And that kind of falls in line with the monetary policy that you're willing to adopt for you and your family. And that maybe, I always say this, and I find this fascinating, how in the digital asset space, all of the altcoins are valued in the value of the alts. If you got $1,000 worth of XRP, you got $1,000. But when it comes to Bitcoin, it's never about the price of Bitcoin. It's about how many Bitcoin do you hold? You ever think about that? It's kind of like gold in a lot of ways, isn't it? It's ultimately sound money principle. It's not about the value of the gold. It's about how much gold do you hold? Kind of the same thing. But with alts, it's always about the dollar value amount. Interesting stuff. It really, really is. We're going to go into John Deaton. John Deaton went all in on the G7 nations. And I agree with his thinking. And I think we said this on the channel. In fact, I know we said this on the channel. What nation is going to stand up and say, nah, you're going the wrong way, US of A? We did say that on the channel, as a matter of fact. Now that I think about it, we did say that on the channel. I wish Keyless was here. She would remember. We did say that on the channel, as a matter of fact. Interesting stuff. Mr. XRP All-In says, did you hear about Jamie Dimon calling a secret meeting? I did not. I did not. They got a guy on Daniela Cambiola. Is it Cambiola? Daniela, I forget her last name. Talking about a dude who believes that this banking thing is a big time money laundering scheme, this crisis. And it's all about moving to 3 or 4 banks, which essentially will deal with one bank. And it looks like that the US plan is not about its citizens as much as it is trying to hold on as best it can to the US dollar. Oh, welcome to Earth TV. I love it. Good morning, Jackie 33, previously known as Jackie 33, is now welcome to Earth TV on YouTube. I love it. Good morning to you. I love it. Appreciate you checking in this morning. The Fourth Amendment has been breached. I mean, what in the world? We're going to cover what the Fourth Amendment, what it exactly is. And oh boy, did we get into all kind of crypto drama when I humbly disagree with one of the awesome content creators in this community and said that that's not true. Any nation's alphabet group, slant government, can come and take your stuff whenever they want by any means necessary. Big time crypto debate, fun debate. It didn't get mean, nasty, or anything. That's the way debate should be: fun, engaging, and getting people to bring their best selves to a conversation and see what's good. Interesting to see that an attorney is making this claim about the Fourth Amendment being breached. Well-beloved attorney in the XRP community. But again, it's an attorney. And there's a reason for that it's an attorney saying that. And it's just not a YouTuber. Like, there's a reason for why an attorney would say that and not a content creator. Right? It's so important to understand the lane that you're in and what you bring to the table from the lane that you're in. And if things are taking place outside of the lane that you're in, if there are happenings going on outside of the lane in which you normally operate and practice and live, you gotta humbly say, that's not my lane, and maybe I should just listen. Bam, bam. What's going on, my friend? Good to see you as well. Interesting times. Interesting time. Let's go over these numbers because I got to get into this Fourth Amendment, like being breached. We got to get into that because that is some big time stuff. All right. Who called him? Miss Crypto Siege call? No. We got to get into that. So that's some big time stuff. Let's go over it. Let me refresh CoinGecko, the awesomeness that is CoinGecko. Screw coin market cap. Screw coin market cap. All right, let's share the screen. Let's go with these numbers. According to CoinGecko, love CoinGecko, love the app on my phone, love using the website. Awesome, awesome features. Love it. Absolutely love what they offer. Look, total cryptocurrency market cap is 1.2 trillion, down from over 3 trillion at one time in the digital asset space. The Bitcoin dominance is at 44.7%. We all know that does not make for an altcoin season, no bull run with Bitcoin dominance at 44.7%. Bitcoin is trading at $27,742. Ethereum is trading at $1,756. And XRP is trading at 48 cents. XRP is up 24% on a 7-day. XRP is just beyond my comprehension when it comes to how this pricing stuff works. Like, why is XRP up 24% on the 7-day? And most of the alt seasons are in the red on the 7-day. Interesting stuff. It really, really is interesting stuff. Interesting stuff, but that's the market right there. Look, I mean, 80 to 90% of the market is red. And XRP is up 24% on the 7-day. I mean, interesting. Let's get to this tweet from that dude, Jeremy Hogan. This is something. Dear US crypto people, the events of the last 6 months have made it clear that the Fourth Amendment has been breached. It is unfortunately time to retreat to the inner walls of the 10th Amendment. Please take a look at your state and ensure you are where you want to be. Again, isn't it interesting that this is coming from a United States attorney? So he got a bunch of tweets and stuff going on here. He says here, he's got this thing here for further reading. The 10th definition, the 10th Amendment, definition and famous cases, right? So we're going to look at that. Let me do that real quick. So that will come up eventually, but wait a minute, where am I? Right here. So you go further down in this thread, right? Keep going further down in this thread from Jeremy Hogan, attorney Jeremy Hogan. So, someone says, Jeremy, are you familiar with the 10th Amendment Center? Jeremy says, learn something new already. So we'll check out the 10th Amendment Center as well. Let me do this. The 10th Amendment Center, interesting. All right. So keep going further down in this thread. And D Rose 919 on Twitter says, what events are we talking about? What events are we talking about? Jeremy Hogan says, when the federal government tries to outlaw possession of crypto assets. Let me say it again. D Rose 919 said, what events are we talking about? Jeremy Hogan, attorney, says when the federal government tries to outlaw possession of digital assets, he says crypto assets. Again, think about what he's doing here and sounding the alarm. Do you think Jeremy Hogan, attorney, right? He operates in a certain lane. He's lived his life for decades in this lane, in this world, right? As an attorney in a particular practice. And he comes out and makes a statement. And do we really think that's just because? This dude says, dear US crypto people, the events of the last 6 months have made it clear that the Fourth Amendment has been breached. has been breached, not will be breached, has been breached. The last 6 months have made it clear. We might not get to 2024 and be able to put our vote where our money is. We might not even get to it with the change in the current administration. He says, it is unfortunately time to retreat to the inner walls of the 10th Amendment. Please look at your state and ensure you are where you want to be. Crypto Twitter drama, when I made that statement about a particular nation's government and the alphabet group associated with them and how they can, in fact, seize your crypto. And I tried to make this argument because I operated in a lane for decades where I saw nations, governments do whatever they needed to do to get what they wanted accomplished. And again, this will be under the guise, these actions will be under the guise of security, right? That's the number one thing, security, right? They're gonna twist it and then spend it around the security of this nation. That's what they will twist it. It'll be a risk to the security and safeguarding of the nation and its people. And remember something. We are the digital asset space, and the digital asset space holders are the minority of citizens in this country by an overwhelming amount. So don't think for a second that there's going to be some uproar and uprising at the Capitol because of something that the US nation will decide to do about crypto. It's not going to be any uprising. And I said this before, I'll say it again, the digital asset space got hoodwinked into Marxism. Hoodwinked into that and divided the space. And a decade later, has about $500,000 roughly, and pack and lobby money to move this space forward. A decade later, when you got the likes of Ripple and Coinbase, Kraken, Binance, a decade later, which means $500,000, which means we did not come together. We didn't come together. Let's take a look at what the Fourth Amendment says. It's some interesting stuff. This is according to the United States courts. This is uscourts.gov, I believe is the site. What does the Fourth Amendment mean? The Constitution through the Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable search and seizures by the government. Protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee. Against all searches and seizures, searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law. Under the law. I find it interesting that there are attorneys in the digital asset space, attorneys in the digital asset space sounding the alarm about a nation's government and their ability to harm you, to take something that doesn't belong to them. Sounding the alarm. And people want to espouse about the ledger. The ledger as their protection under the law. Well, there's a reason why he's talking about the 10th Amendment, family. There's a reason why he's talking about it. And I don't know. I think I'm okay in the great state of Texas. We're going to find out. We're going to look into it. I tell people all the time, the ledger is not about protecting you from nations, governments, and their respective 3 letters groups. The ledger is about protecting your assets from me. I own a ledger, or several ledgers, to protect my assets from you or the bad guys. There is no way in heck that I'm expecting that to protect from a nation's government and their 3-letter alphabet people. The only recourse is under the law. So if we understand that's the recourse, that's the way, that's another form of protection. The law, the judicial system, another form of protection. How are you participating in that? How are you participating in that form of protection? How are you going to show up to court is my question. Are you going to show up only and say, well, you know, this is what I bought and this is how much I paid for it and this is where I store it, and that's it? Because the opposing lawyers and the entity that they represent is going to show up with a whole lot more than that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Keyless is in the building. How are you, miss? Good to see you. Devon, Steve, good afternoon, bro. The 4th Amendment, Keyless, has been breached. Attorney John Deaton, on record publicly, did you see the tweet, Keyless? On record publicly. That is about sounding the alarm in his attempt to do a good. Right? This is why so many times I get on Twitter and say that we can no longer afford to be naive and suggest that we live in a Shangri-La space. Especially when we're talking about dealing with a nation that is in the habit of and business of taking things that don't belong to them under the guise of national security. The real big Will is in the building. What's going on, my guy? Good to see you. Michael O2 is here. What's up, baby? If the judgment is in favor for Ripple, If the judge is in favor for Ripple, we may see $1. If the judge says it's going to trial, we will see 15 cents tomorrow. I hear you. I'm going to sell my XRP at the top of the pump. I hear you, my guy. I hear you. Appreciate you checking in. Rodwell Nobrega's in the building. It's a party now, family. Good to see you, Rodwell. That's sounding the alarm. And do you think that perhaps Attorney Hogan is in the lane and in the know and maybe hearing rumblings and perhaps talking with other people in the know and in the same lane who understands that the way that you do another level of protection is the judicial system, and you don't want to show up as the attorney. That's what having a ledger is. That's what that is. Having a ledger and expecting that to protect your assets from a nation's entities is like showing up to court as the attorney. That's what it's saying. What do you think about that, family? The Fourth Amendment has been breached. Again, let me read it to you. The Constitution through the Fourth Amendment protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee against all searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law. John Dunkelto, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Appreciate you checking in this morning. Where are you checking in from, John? Colin Hughes, what's good? What do you think? What do you think about that? Why would Attorney Jeremy Hogan be sounding this type of alarm? Why do you think Attorney John Deaton is taking up this fight? Because he understands, he sees the bigger picture. The bigger picture is they are coming for your crypto. By hook, crook, ban, or seizure. Hook or crook or ban or seizure. And it's unfortunate that is happening in the nation where we reside. In fact, I would make the argument that this nation is leading the charge. It's unfortunate. In saying that we're going to have to get to the 10th Amendment and to see what states say. In fact, in Jeremy Hogan's thread here, there were some people who referenced their state and the moves that the state is making, probably very similar to what Wisconsin is doing. Signed as law, Tennessee authorizes state and gold reserves. Let me see what that says there. No, so this might even be applicable. Let's see. Yesterday, Tennessee governor, I guess, Bill Lee signed a bill into law that creates a process for the state to buy, sell, and hold gold and silver, for the state to do so. This sets a foundation for Tennessee to achieve more financial independence with gold and silver reserves could help undermine the Federal Reserve's monopoly on money. Why would a state think that they need to protect themselves from the Federal Reserve? You got to ask yourself, why would the state of Tennessee feel like they have to protect themselves from this Federal Reserve? Interesting stuff. The 10th Amendment, let me share this with you guys. Signed as law, Tennessee authorizes state gold and silver reserves. Yesterday, March 24th of 2023. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed a bill into law that creates a process for the state to buy, sell, and hold gold and silver. This sets a foundation for Tennessee to achieve more financial independence with gold and silver reserves and can help undermine the Federal Reserve's monopoly on money. The Federal Reserve's monopoly on money. Tenth Amendment. What is the 10th Amendment about? This is to info tracer here. The 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution is the part of the Bill of Rights ratified in 1791. The original text reads, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to their states respectively, or to the people. In other words, when we suspect that the nation's governments are not acting in our best behalf, but in their best behalf, the states individually can do something about it. The 10th Amendment clarifies the division of power between the federal government and the states. It reiterates the idea that the federal government has only the powers issued to it by the United States Constitution, and the remaining power belongs to the states and the people. It was included in large part to satisfy the anti-federalists who were worried about a powerful federal government. Operation Choke Point is a particular nation's entities coming together in a cohesive plan, coordinated, to take out crypto, which is essentially causing you harm. And it's like Jimmy Valley used to say, it's putting a cloud on a title of something that you hold, restricting, constricting its value. John Deaton put this out. James Rue put this tweet out, and John Deaton responded to it. I think it's an interesting tweet. It says, leaders from Japan, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, France, Germany, and European Union are expected to outline a global cooperative strategy for digital assets in May. G7 to collaborate on tighter crypto regulations report, just from Cointelegraph. John Deaton has a very interesting reply to that tweet. He says, which one of these nations is going to stand up and tell the United States, GFY? GFY and your dumb approach regarding the eventual adoption of blockchain technology. Let me see if I can't find this tweet from, I believe, a nation's president, I believe it's a president in Africa. Now, this is not the video, but like Claude is saying, capitalfm.ko business 23, it has to do with the Kenya relationship with Saudi, easing on dollars, moving forward to acquiring oil by credit slant Kenyan currency. The shift is in effect, leveling the playing fields. And I believe this guy here pictured is the same guy who made this comment about the US dollar. Let me see if I can find it. I find it to be interesting. Public TV, I mean, cameras going, rolling. Here it is right here. Just take a listen to this.
Shortly might go into losses. People who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you shortly might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
Now, does someone like that in that position make a public statement about that for no reason? Right? Do you think that the lane that he operates in, he's in to know about a certain kind of thing that's about to happen? We all saw the video with China and Russia's presidents talking about we're about to do something that's never, ever, ever been done. Oh, currently in Poland, but my home is in Dallas, Texas. Oh, okay, John. You're a fellow Texan then. I love it. Appreciate you checking in, man. Bradwell says, do we still live on the constitutional rights or do we go to the big C word? This is the thing, right? We still have the constitutional rights. But you can't just have constitutional rights, in my opinion. You have to be able to effectively communicate in a court of law what exactly do you believe your constitutional rights as it pertains to the Fourth Amendment. You got to be prepared, right? This is the big thing that everybody is missing. This is what people are missing in the XRP community. This is what they're 1,000% missing. And being distracted about a 10,000 XRP, just like distracted. Again, the protection is a plan for when an incident or an occurrence happens, and it has to be resolved in a court of law. Because perhaps in a court of law, it's decided that the U.S. or a nation's entities and their alphabet people have the right to seize your stuff, but they'll have to purchase it. Because to completely take it away would be a violation of their constitutional rights. So can you come up, says the judge, with a reasonable price for your assets? Yes, we can. Yeah, sure, we can. And what do you have? What do you have to present to the court? Are you going to use CoinMarketCap? I love CoinGecko, but are you going to lose CoinGecko? What are you going to use to present to the court? Do you see what I'm saying, fam? It is better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And I would humbly suggest to you that the ledger is not enough protection. It's not enough protection. Darcy was good. Darcy's like, just got here. Who's coming to take my crypto? So Darcy, let me ask you, did you see the tweet from attorney Jeremy Hogan about the breach of the Fourth Amendment? Did you see that tweet? Rich and Mill, Collab Rodriguez says, hypothetical, but can crypto be put in cold storage, travel to a crypto-friendly country to sell? Great question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Okay, it says, nope. Valtney Griffith Jr., what's good, my guy? He said, please explain. Okay, well, let me share this tweet from fam. Allow me to share this tweet. Darcy and Valton probably just got here. Let's just share this tweet from attorney Jeremy Hogan. In my opinion, sounding the alarm. Trying to do a good, in my opinion. All right, I think it's probably showed up for everyone. Jeremy Hogan tweets out, "Dear United States crypto people, the events of the last 6 months have made it clear that the Fourth Amendment has been breached. The Fourth Amendment, real quick, says, this is from the United States courts.gov, the Constitution, through the Fourth Amendment, protects people from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. The Fourth Amendment, however, is not a guarantee against all searches and seizures, but only those that are deemed unreasonable under the law. In other words, if you believe that your Fourth Amendment right has been violated, you have to settle that in court. And if you have to settle it in court, I would humbly ask you, are you going to show up to court with your purchase price and the day that you bought the assets and where you stored it as your evidence as to why a certain entity can't take your crypto? Is that what you're going to show up with? Or do you feel like you need another form of protection? What Jeremy Hogan is saying is he believes this has happened. There has been a breach in your Fourth Amendment constitutional right. This is what he's saying. Not a content creator, not a YouTuber who would suggest, a YouTuber would suggest that a nation's government can't do a thing because it's on a ledger. It is unfortunately time to retreat to the inner walls of the 10th Amendment. This attorney says, please take a look at your state and ensure you are where you want to be. I think Attorney Hogan's in Florida. I think he's feeling real good about the state that he lives in. I'm feeling pretty good about being in the state of Texas. And perhaps the people in Wyoming are feeling a certain kind of way as well. And so I followed the thread for this particular tweet, and someone asked him flat out, like, what do you mean? It says right here, D Rose 919, Darcy and Mr. Griffin, right here. What events are we talking about? Attorney Jeremy Hogan says, when the federal government tries to outlaw possession of crypto assets. And I promise you, it will be under, in some way, shape, and form, under the guise of national security. Oh, this might be an answer to the question that someone had in the chat here. Roaring 20s asked Attorney Hogan, how would that work if I lived and bought for a few years in state A, for example, in state A, and then lived and bought for a few years in state B? He gives the example, Virginia previously, at the time of the lawsuit being dropped, and now in the great state of Florida. Attorney Hogan says, well, that's similar to marijuana laws. As long as you are a resident before the relevant law is passed. Otherwise, you could be charged with moving contraband across state lines. Just thinking off the top of my head. I know. We live in, my opinion, the best nation in the entire world, in my opinion, born and raised. But to suggest that it can't happen here is naive at best. There you go, Collab Rodriguez. Collab Rodriguez is like, come on, folks, give those guys a thumb up. There you go. I appreciate that, my guy. Do me a favor, guys. If you didn't do so coming in, no worries. Collapse the chat, go smash that like button, then come back and hang out with the Crypto Siege and family. Soren Eagle 1776, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. Does that make sense to you, Darcy and Valton? Rodwell's like, I'm not feeling good about New York in this case. Think about it. If this particular nation, yeah, I would definitely look into Austin, my guy. Look into Austin, Rockwell. If a particular nation has in terms of the digital asset space, has the biggest chance of, has the biggest loss, it can lose the most. Remember what the digital asset space represents, and it represents a new form of money. It represents a new form of money. The United States has benefited from the US dollar being the world reserve currency. And unfortunately, we didn't do it. Its citizens didn't do it. But the US decided to weaponize and leverage that position to do harm. We didn't make that decision. They decided to leverage and weaponize that position to do harm. Hold on 1 second, guys. To do harm. Right? We didn't do that. Soon Crypto says yes. Oh, what's going on, Soon Crypto? How are you? I didn't even notice you checking in. I appreciate you being here. Where are you checking in from, Soon Crypto? Welcome to the Crypto Siege family. Soaring Eagle 1776 is correct. You were all born a national, then made a citizen. 1000% correct. A lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't exercise that right to become a nationalist. A lot of people don't exercise it because it's that fear of repercussions. There's a fear of repercussions, which is a lot of reasons why people decide not to have other than one form of citizenship. Out of fear, in my opinion. But you know what we say on this channel, Soaring Eagle 1776? This is what we say on this channel all the time. Go to where your assets are treated best. Go to where your assets are treated best. Citizenship by investment is at an all-time high. Why do you think that is? Why do you think the citizenship by investment programs are at an all-time high? This is where you can become a legal citizen, resident of another nation. Why do you think this is an all-time high? Soon Crypto's from the UK. Well, appreciate you being here, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Right? I mean, again, we're in the digital asset space. It represents a new form of money. The nation that has the biggest chance of losing the most. What nation is that? It's the one who reserves its fiat as the world's reserve currency. I mean, it's just the way that it is. UK lost theirs. I don't know what kind of fight they put up, but they lost theirs. But they didn't have to worry about a new form of money. It was fiat, right? US fiat. It wasn't a new form of money. This is a new. Oh, why is that saying? Mike O2 says there's no sound. Can you guys hear me? I know I paused it for a few seconds there. Can you guys hear me okay? Soaring Eagle, thank you very much. My new favorite YouTube channel. Make sure you guys can hear you. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in the chat, please, if you guys can hear me. Rodwell says yes. Thank you, Rodwell. So that's what it's about. The digital asset space represents a new form of money. Walk away from content creators who talk about technology in the digital asset space. Technology gets better. What we embrace is this new form of money. What's going on, Ronald Woodward? Good to see you, bro. Right? Technology represents a new form of money. Technology, can get better. The digital asset space represents a new form of money. And what comes along with it, a monetary policy where you and I get to choose the form of money, the monetary policy that comes with that money, and how we store that money. The current system says, no, 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 no. This is your form of money, and this is your monetary policy, and this is where you store that money. Do you see what I'm saying? No worries, Keyless. Appreciate you being here. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? And what happened, what happened, and it's very clever. It's very clever. The BRICS nation said, I think that this new form of money play will allow us to grab greater market share. And collectively, we can become more powerful than a nation and its few allies. Look, it looks like to us that its citizens in this digital asset space is a way for regular citizens to level the playing field. And the number one nation is not trying to have the digital asset space because of its reserve currency status. So we'll participate. We'll create our own digital thing. We'll create our own little digital thing. And we'll say, look, this dollar thing is about to come to an end, and we got to figure out something different. Why don't we come up with our own thing collectively together? So instead of just BRICS, now we got BRICS Plus. And my point in a couple of live streams ago, was the United States is being pulled in all kinds of directions and can't focus. I heard earlier today that CNN was talking about the BRICS nation and how they were going to destroy the US dollar. So my question, like I started the stream, is it's not about whether or not the US nation is prepared. The question is, are you prepared? Because it's clear to me that the United States has made a decision about the digital asset space. It's clear. Oh yeah, absolutely, exactly, Keyless, and that was the committee's challenge and how they presented it. Keyless says, CJ, I am 100% with you on being prepared for the opportunity in case it presents itself. I think the problem that some people have with it is the way it was presented. In parentheses, the buyback thing. People had questions. Yep, how it was presented was everything. Unlike the other big time notorious upheaval in the XRP community is when the good old boys got together and decided that they were going to create an insider group, and which wasn't really an insider group, but the way they presented it was the worst presentation in the history of presentations. And so it came across that way as an inside thing, and we're going to charge you for inside information. It was a bad presentation. I don't know if you guys were around for that. So that's the question, my friends. It's not about whether this nation or any other nation is prepared. Are you prepared? Have you made the decision on your new form of money and the monetary policy that comes along with it? And have you decided how you're going to store those assets? Have you made that decision? And tell us about, or think about, your levels of protection. Think about your levels of protections. All right, guys, look, I'm a hop off here. It's been a really cool hang. I appreciate each and every one of you checking in. Michael 02 and Soaring Eagle 1776. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Keyless, the ladies at Crypto, I always appreciate you checking in. And Ronald Woodward and Soon Crypto, Rich and Mill. Love it. Collab Rodriguez. I love that. Appreciate you being here this morning. Rywell Nobrega, the OG. Valentin Griffins. Appreciate you checking in this morning. Winston Prescott, I miss you checking in, bro. Appreciate you being here. Darcy, my dude, as always, appreciate you. John Duncan appreciate you checking in. Colin Hughes, Devon, Steve, and Bam Pam, Mr. XRP all in. RC, Terrell Hauser, and Jay Coyne, I appreciate you all being here this morning. I certainly hope that you guys have an absolutely blessed rest of the day for sure. Some food for thought without question, huh? Some food for thought. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all of my live streams and remind you guys of this.
Old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating, or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it.
I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.